Today is Friday, October 4th, and this is episode 15, I believe. Might be 16, shit. I probably should have checked that. Whatever. It's one of those two, goddammit. Oh, sorry for the GD, for the Christians. My bad. And I guess the Muslims, it would be more sorry for the Allah, damn it.
Pretty sure just everybody.
Do you have any lead-in music like...
No, I don't have any lead-in music.
Well, now you do.
I'm trying to get with my IT department on that. They haven't emailed me back. This has been a very long process, being how my IT department's only about a bathroom away from my living room. I do most of my IT work in the bathroom.
That's not your SHIT department.
No.
It's just your IT department.
You know what? That's it. I've been emailing the wrong...
You're getting confused.
Yeah.
I've been emailing the wrong fucking people this whole time.
Maybe
Erica?
it's the same department.
IROC-Z.
Yeah.
The IROC-Z. I can actually edit that part out, so that's good. But, anyway, thank you, because SHIT, I forgot about the SH. Went with the IT. I saw the two dots. There was a dot. I saw IT. Much like, I thought that Sticky, long time ago, one time on the way to a poker game, had an umbrella in his back seat, and it said, I swore it was Aramis. It said Aramis, but I said, damn, Sticky, high roller with the Armani. Because Kenny, sometimes in my head, I just go ARM. So it's got to be Armani. This dude's gangster.
And it was a fancy umbrella, too.
It was.
It had a nice little curl to handle and everything.
Crushed velvet, dude. It was dope. It was so sick.
Not necessarily practical in the rain, however.
Yeah, it turned into like 20, 30 pounds in the rain with the crushed velvet. So soaked up the water.
That was the odd design question I had. That it did look good down a runway, but functionally wise, like using it as a functional umbrella, it did weight down after it got wet.
It did match his velour jumpsuit that he wore with it, though, in the rain.
Velour?
And so I feel like it just made him look very snazzy.
Of those two was very
you know what?
weighty by the time
it's the way that I like to work out, because then by the time that I get back, I'm twice as heavy as I was when I left.
There you go. And that's really the best way to calculate how much weight you've lost is by how wet you got while you were running. Because the members only jacket that you wore over that, the collar soaks a lot of water in, so that's how you measure your water weight. It's just somebody told me that one time. I think that's how you. Anyway,
and the Sherpa-lined Ugg boots collected a lot of that perspiration.
Hey Kenny, if you don't, Worf, if you don't go too much longer without introducing the ladies,
I was just getting ready to.
The ladies in the room, we're going to owe them a dress.
Yes, we are going to owe them a dress.
Please keep talking.
Yes.
You're right. First, I'd like to introduce my wife, my soulmate, my partner, every cheesy fucking thing you can possibly think of that I could possibly say right now. Go ahead, babe. Talk on in there.
Hello, my name is Michaela Strickland.
That's right. And you can find her at my Twitter handle. Actually, no, you have a Twitter handle.
Yes.
What is it?
Strictly 3.
Is it really?
Yes.
At Strictly 3. Yeah, you gotta talk into the mic a little bit. Anyway, it's at Strictly 3, and so you can contact her through there. Follow her. She's a great follow. She's tweeted 3 times in the last 2 years. But when she tweets, she makes it one Instagram picture. When she does it, though, she makes it fucking count.
It's very poignant.
It's like Silent Bob.
I'll try to get on that. I'll try to get a little better about that.
And I'll let
just for you.
my co-host here introduce his lovely half.
Welcome back to the sweet sounds of Sticky from the Blue Room.
That's right.
With me this evening, along with Mr. Worf and Mrs. Worf, we have the lovely, beautiful, and talented Miss IROC-Z.
IROC-Z. Yeah, everybody, come on, let's get some clapping in here.
Thank you. This is my first time. Please be gentle.
We will. We will definitely not pull the sword back.
Kenny does have the lube, though, if you
Unless it's the ghost sword, which I wouldn't feel anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
yes.
You might feel a cold sensation.
We haven't quite gotten to the ghost sword.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there in time. Due process, guys. It's just like when you get.
Are we going to court, Kenny? Due process?
It is due process. Well, I was just because speaking of court, I was going to say, Kayla has been able to call out of how many jury duties have you missed? 3?
3.
3 jury duties, 2 no calls, and then 1 just I'm pregnant.
I have never
You
been
can get
called
out of
for
jury
jury.
duty
Neither
for
have I.
being
I have.
If I have, I didn't answer.
I have been eligible for jury ever since I was 18.
What, do you just have to not be a felon?
I mean, so almost half of my life, I have not had to go
It's a
to.
long life.
I know it is. I mean,
Yeah, how is that? How have I been called 3 times and you've never been called?
I know. I'll be 28 on Monday, and I've never been ever.
it's because
Well,
women.
I've been in court quite a few times, but I've never been on the
Maybe
good
that's
part of
why.
the court
Women
system.
are
Judges
usually more
say.
sympathetic as a
Right.
jury member than men.
So they don't
So-
want
But
to
why
kill
would
people.
they?
Exactly.
I was called
So
once
that
when I
could
was
go
18. Not in
both-
Texas, though, right?
Couldn't that go both ways then, also? Then?
What do you mean, like gay?
Like, no, I'm.
What kind of
Not that there's
courtroom were you
anything-
were you called to?
Wouldn't they? Like that could be a good thing or a bad thing. That would be more sensitive, correct?
I guess, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like
Like our
me and Steve
feelings
saying, they
could
don't want
make
to kill.
us partial.
They don't want to kill.
Oh, okay.
I guess they don't want to
gotcha.
fry people. And like I
I
said, unless
gotcha.
it's Texas.
Yeah.
Because everything's bigger in Texas, right?
Including their death wish.
Their death penalties are high there. They kill lots. You know, that'd be a cool fathead poster, is a guy like
A Texas
pre-electrocution.
executioner.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
oh, yeah.
pre-electric, like just like his look on his face, like, and just have like, you know, they have those like inspiring things that say like teamwork, and it's like a guy holding another guy or doing a keg stand, and
Oh,
it says
God.
teamwork at the bottom.
Motivational
you know?
posters.
Motivational posters,
Yeah.
right? But have one like to keep kids out of prison is have a guy like in mid-fry, like.
Oh God.
Like, holy shit, you can see his bones. It's just like the cartoons.
Well, you know, when common sense doesn't work, you have to go to that next level.
I mean,
Really do.
Scared Straight only goes so far.
That's
Yeah.
why a lot of at all the high schools around town, they have a traveling car that was in an accident.
Oh, yeah.
A drunk driving accident where somebody died, and it goes from
like
school
hair
to
and
school
sweet.
to school.
Yeah.
And there's hair and
They
teeth
brought
and shit in it.
Yeah.
I remember
They
that.
brought that to our school when I
They
was
brought
in-
Dustin's car up there after we wrecked it. They were like, dude, this is what happens. And we're like, yeah, we were in that thing like last week.
And we survived, so keep drinking.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude, I
We made it. Will you?
I'm so
dedication to
curious
your
if they ever
craft
made a
right there.
police report about that night. Dude, it was literally about 80 feet just past the premises of Julian Creek Elementary. We took out 2 trees in the median. And this is right when they planted the trees.
Were you in a Volvo, and were there fat chicks involved?
No.
Really?
I wouldn't have got hurt if that was the case.
I didn't know that.
Fat chicks.
I didn't know
They would have
Dustin.
cushioned the blow.
They would
Yeah.
have been side impacts.
Literally, no.
Side impact airbags.
I didn't know that Dustin knew how to drive around without fat chicks.
No fat chicks in a Volvo. That's my boy Dustin Espinoza, former Marines. He served. But no fat chick. Fat chicks in a Volvo was like after graduation, like 2005.
That's
04.
That's a funny story, but one for another time.
One for another time, absolutely. But no, we were in his MX-6. We were 16. We had just finished. We'd got a pint of Jack Daniels, which was only like the little bottle, but we drank it in 1 drink apiece. Like we did half and halves. And we were racing. Jason was right behind us, literally in his car, right behind us in the Merc. And we were racing this kid, John Clavier, which is at John Clavier. He's actually an actor, been in 1 TV show, I believe, on Sci-Fi. I think he was like in like Octoshark or Sharknado.
Is he like the guy pushing the buttons in the background?
He's that, or the guy with a priest's outfit on that just happened to be walking a woman across the street, or one of
Because
those.
that happens in real life.
Maybe
usually.
Boy Scouts. I'm sorry, Boy Scouts is where I was going with that. But anyway, what was that story? Oh, anyway, we were racing him. Jason's right behind us, and it was raining, and we lost control. And now those trees are pretty thick that are in the median of Racetrack Road. They're
Right.
pretty thick now.
Yeah.
This is probably 3 years after they were planted, so they were still. So we took the first one out, and the second one stopped right behind me, and it like kind of horseshoed the car behind my seat, pushed my seat, and I leaned forward. I wasn't strapped in, and I leaned forward, we hit the airbag, pushed me, slammed me back into it this way, but by the time the airbag pushed me back, the tree had already come in, so I bounced off the tree, or the part of the frame that was wrapped around the tree.
Right.
So I had an egg. Didn't even know you get eggs in the back of your head. Got a nasty egg back here, and then like 2 up here. Cut the head open.
Up here is in the forehead area.
Oh, I guess I'm not explaining that well.
For those of you who can't see,
I forgot this isn't a webcast. Like, we're not doing any live streaming or anything.
Yeah, you can find that later on Pornhub.com.
Oh, you motherfucker.
That's where you can find our webcast.
Yes. Or on XXNX, you can get onto the webcam. Call me on, what is it? What's the thing that you guys
I like
with?
Dick.
Skype,
yes.
At xxnx.com is where you can find Kenny.
I like road cone practicing. I like to sit on road cones. I started with bikes with no seats and then worked my way to road cones. And once you got past the reflector, you're talking mile marker.
I think we need to celebrate that. I mean,
dude,
that's
I'm
a major
serious.
accomplishment.
I seriously, when we take our break,
marriage,
I might go get a beer and drink a beer because it was weird though, when I pulled it out, there was a little bit of residue on the reflector, so it became like a unreflector. Like, what would you call that? Like,
Kenny actually told me that, you know how people, they set goals and they're like, you know what, I'm going to run a marathon, so I'm going to run the river run, then I'm going to run a half marathon, then I'm going to run a marathon.
You're going to do the Donna Hicken, 26.3.
Save the tatas.
Yeah,
26.2 and 1.6 or whatever.
All very esteemed. And then
I want to be able to, build up my car and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Kenny said, I'm going to build up my asshole. So he started out with bicycle seats, and now, like he said, he went to cones. By the end of next year, his goal actually is to put the full head of a midget into his rectum. That is the goal.
Yeah, with his hands up. With his hands up.
Yes, with his hands up, grabbing Kenny.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk about what he's grabbing, but that soon will be up on Kenny's Twitter feed at, what is it?
At God Save My Jags, spelled like it sounds. GODSAVEMYJAGS. No underscores, because luckily that wasn't taken. We almost went Yahweh Save My Jags. We almost went the real at God Save My Jags, or the real God at God Save My Jags. But yeah, with the midget hands up with the little stubby fingers. I want full on effect.
I'm a proponent of long-term goals, though. So what is after that? I mean, are you just going to go for the keg, or maybe like a mid-size sedan?
Man, honestly, I mean, define mid-size, because technically her Kia is a mid-size.
Well, I was thinking more like a Prius. I feel like that would be a safe and
That's
environmentally friendly.
You know what? You're right. It's going green. It's going green. I'm going green.
Kenny wants to be able to have his own story involving fat chicks and Volvos.
You know what? So, speaking of going green, special thanks to one of our sponsors. It's at Goodwood85. Again, that's at Goodwood85 on Twitter. My buddy Robbie Staub. He's pretty much part owner and runs After the Barn. You can find them on Facebook, whatever their thing is. Just After the Barn on Facebook, search it, you'll find it. If you lived in the Northeast, northeastern part of the United States, you can purchase reclaimed wood you can have it run through a sawmill and resurfaced. We pull the nails out. We do it all, folks. So if you're into the barn look in your house,
in all seriousness, though, their furniture really is.
They have beautiful
amazing.
Furniture. If you go to, like I said, After the Barn Facebook, there's no blocks. They'll accept anybody. You can check out the furniture. Comment on their Facebook page or check them out at Goodwood85, and that's Robbie Staub. And also special thanks to Jammin' Chips LLC. That would be my step-parents' chip outfit. Hashtag Chip Game. Again, the offer's still on. If you hashtag Chip Game to me, I will send you no more than 5 pounds of out-of-date chips. They're still delicious.
No more or no less?
No more or no, well, you can go less. If you go a certain amount of poundage on your stamps, then the government jumps you up a tax bracket. So, in order for that, I want to keep it under 5. But I'll send you out-of-date chips. That offer is always on. So hit me hashtag Chip Game at God Save My Jags. Any of that. KANIFFBEER at yahoo.com. You can let me know on that.
That spells Kniff Beer.
That's right.
For those of you who may not know, that's actually the first email address that Kenny
and the only one. one that I've ever had.
Yeah, I helped him set that up when he goes, what's this thing called the internet, and what is email?
Yeah.
And also how to address
How to address a stamp.
This was shortly after how to address an envelope.
correspondence
How to
through
write a check.
mail. Just
How
to pay a bill.
How to address a stamp. How to address a letter. Yeah, I mean there were many different
a stamp
things.
correspondence.
Yes.
Yes. So,
anyways, that's a whole.
but those are our sponsors for the show this week. Again, that's Jam and Chips LLC and After the Barns.
And we are also brought to you by the letter R.
Yes.
The letter Z.
Yes.
And the number 69.
Nice. Wish you would have done a better number than 69, but we'll work
The
that
number 4.
Thank you. Much more subtle,
Yeah.
simple. 4 letters. We can think of things with R, and roar is not a 4-letter word, is it?
IROC Z
It
has
is.
an R and a Z.
It does. It does.
Indeed,
IROC
I felt
Z.
very loved.
Yeah, that's the only one I can think of at the moment, so we'll just keep it at that. Anyway, so we're going to go into a little segment called Kenny's Voice Memos. It's where I like to play...
Kenny's voice memo. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Finally, the SHIT team came back with me with some intro music. I'm glad that it finally came back around.
Yes, I'm part of the shit team.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most important.
Working hard at Worfcast Industries. Again, at God Save My Jags. If you hate me, hate all of this, let me know, just so I know you downloaded and listened to it, you bastard. So anyway, we're going to go into my voice memos, and again, to break those down, it's basically my notepad for the show. And I usually plug a couple to play over the thing because they're kind of random. I don't doll them up. They're just what's going through my head in a normal day. So here we go.
How do you audition for hand modeling / back modeling / foot modeling? Is there I wonder if you just hang from somewhere and then just stick your feet out, or is there a curtain that you just stick your hand out of the curtain and they don't see your face and they just see your hands? Just a question.
So Erica, having experience being a model for Burlington Coat Factory, IROC Z, I'm sorry.
Yes. Thank you.
Luckily, there's no last names involved in any of this, so that's a good thing. How does that work? Can I get your? How do you? How does it work?
In my professional opinion, all of the good genetics tend to flow through someone's body out to the extremities. So usually when you're dealing,
penis.
like the tips of penises, yes, the tops of your ears are usually quite lovely to look at. And in the case of hand models, foot models, the same thing holds true. So when you're dealing with a hand model or a foot model, you're really dealing with Gargamel, with just really beautiful
really fucked up
hands or feet.
Because their face is probably jacked.
Yeah, and so what they'll do is they'll just lay a blank, a black cover over the rest of the body so that the photographer doesn't vomit.
No shit.
While they're taking photos. And then they'll just pose the hands, the extremities, in a pleasing position and then photograph away.
So I heard that the Elephant Man had a really awesome left hand.
No shit.
Yes.
Yes.
That was probably it, though, right?
Yeah, everything else is horrible.
Clubfoot.
But he had
totally covered in warts. It was awful.
The left hand was
absolutely
beautiful.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
That makes sense. Kind of like blind people or got mad sense of hearing and shit.
Yeah.
Well, you know how when you may not have had it happen, but when you're a kid and you're playing with yourself, you keep playing with yourself, you're going to break out with a rash or something on your hand, something crazy is going to happen to your hand. The Elephant Man had it in reverse. He goes and he plays with himself, and his hand looks beautiful.
Oh, because he didn't clean up afterwards.
Well, it's all of that exfoliation.
It's that additional genetics just getting all over the place.
A little, like some elephant kids all over his knuckles.
Well, you're exfoliating and then you're moisturizing at the same time.
Oh, really?
So it's certainly...
So does that mean facials are in order from here on out?
No.
If you're ready to exfoliate, let's...
you have to have both steps, though. You can't just moisturize away, or else you're going to have a problem.
Exactly.
You have to be close to it.
Exfoliation is
key.
Done with friction,
that's your foundation.
Yeah.
I can sit there and slap all day if need be.
Well, no, you don't want
to cause some friction.
Well, no, because then you cause bruising, which opens pores up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you don't
And
want
if
to do
you
that.
open
Just
the
need
pores
like a-
up too much for moisturization,
Damn it,
then
Kenny, I
might
thought you would
have
have been on my side with this one.
opposite
No, I want to be
problem.
gentle. I want to partake in the moisturization of the factorization of, these common
The
technical terms.
industrialization of...
The industrialization of exfoliation.
Exactly.
But here's my point. I've seen how nice and smooth and beautiful your ass is. Don't you want your face to share in the same? I mean, I'm not saying that it doesn't, but
I feel like I'm a victim of way too much moisturization, sticky,
Yeah.
and so maybe we need to reassess our positions.
Yeah.
I agree.
The lazy dog is a common...
So we're going to be back in about like 30 to 45 seconds. And,
nice. You went that
honey.
route. I like it.
I like that.
I like it.
Oh, you're such the overachiever.
You really, you really took it and just ran with it, and I appreciate that. Maybe we can have that type of effort out of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I've always been told it's a sprint, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's a sprint. It's not a marathon. It's a sprint.
Okay, sprint to the end. And
It's
whoever
funny though.
finishes
If you
first wins.
date back to history,
Apparently.
if you date back to history though, the sprint. It seems like the sprint didn't win because why didn't Ponce de Leon get credit for finding the Americas before? Didn't he come here before Columbus?
Christopher Columbus actually
didn't
never
Canadian.
discovered
Yeah,
the
he didn't do shit,
Americas.
right.
He discovered the Caribbean,
Yeah.
some
Right.
islands on the outer banks of the Caribbean. Never really actually made it to America.
No, and that's what I'm
Common
saying. So wouldn't Ponce de
misconception.
Leon get some mad credit for landing over in St. Augie?
He should.
You know what I mean?
And he does in St. Augustine.
Yeah, in the Augustine. Sorry, St. Augustine.
It's actually the 500th anniversary of his landing.
No shit, 500, huh? So, is that... Do we get... Is the bank closed?
Isn't it 500?
Yes.
Is the bank closed?
What do we know? What?
So they closed for that holiday?
Oh,
500?
I
So-
think
so that
everything
would
is...
I think that's an order for Roadhead. That's Roadhead. Like, I explained on an earlier podcast that Roadhead seems to only come on the really important, like Arbor Day, Martin Luther King Day,
President's Day.
Labor Day,
My favorite.
I personally think it should be here on Saturday.
tax relief. Tax relief is in order. Usually tax relief day. Like the old Sticky Shorts tax relief parties were epic. Luckily, you were able to be a part of the last one, Erica, I believe, right? Didn't we do one?
It was 2 years ago. We did the last.
That is it. The
Party.
official last.
Oh no, there will be
It's on hold. We're going to go ahead and say it's on
Yeah, I
hold.
hope it's on hold and not stop.
Good call, babe. Man, I like your enthusiasm.
I think we should do it again.
I think so too. That's were epic.
So anyway, back to Kenny's voice memo segment. We took that one and ran with it. Thank you for what a great explanation, though. I mean, very educated. She's a podiatrist by trade.
I am.
But she also does ironwork on the weekends. She has her degree in welding.
And needlepoint. I also like to bake.
Oh, speaking of clams,
Sweaty balls are my specialty.
Kayla is my. Kayla joined the fantasy football league this year, and
Congrats.
a couple weeks ago, Mr. Sticky over here said she was coming for her on a Thursday after Jamal Charles had 30 points. Now, give it to him. He was winning through Monday, and then Eric Decker decided to go off. And the Clam Ballers is the name of my wife's team. We had to do something that had to do with vaginas.
Yes.
So we called it the Clam Ballers.
So I am the only vagina.
She's the only vagina in the league, so she's the Clam Baller. And
That's a title.
Thanks.
We have to get an all-new fantasy football trophy now.
Yeah,
I can no
if she
longer be
wins-
the guy that's ripping the shirt off.
if she wins, it should be a package of roast beef in a cup. Curtains.
Oh, no. And a side of Thousand Island to go with
Speaking of
it.
curtains, that's what after I get done with when I achieve the midget in my ass, that my asshole will have lips. I'm affirming that. I'm going to go ahead and call that. I will be the first male with lips on his butthole. So anyway,
So once again, back to the memo.
back to the voice memos. This is one I did on September 26th.
Favorite dictator / president / bad people fathead posters. Like Hitler fatheads or Mussolini fatheads or what was the guy from Russia?
You know what that is?
Anyway, fatheads of like really bad people on your wall instead of like Ben Roethlisberger.
Okay, Erica brought up was it Vladimir?
Vladimir Putin.
Yes,
It's,
and
not only funny just because he's such a silly man, but also because his last name is Putin.
Putin, yeah.
And he rose to such an elevated status in Russia with the last name of Putin.
Could you imagine if they did a roast of Putin?
Yeah.
Like, Comedy Central did the Vladimir Putin roast, and like, dude, how scary would that be trying to roast that fucking crazy bastard?
Putin's best moments. I love it.
I bet if you just and people, if you're wondering who Vladimir Putin, he is the president of
Russia.
Mm-hmm. Is he more of a dictator?
He is.
So
extremely.
I'm sure if
fascist,
you just Google his name and go click on the images icon,
yeah, you will see him literally
very manlike,
struggling with like a bear as he's making decisions about the next steps of his country. Usually he has pythons wrapped around his biceps as he is mostly shirtless in most of the images. Unicycling over a steaming pit of alligators chomping at his feet.
Taking a tire off of a truck, like
with his teeth.
With his teeth, yes.
Yeah.
Like shit Chuck Norris would get fucking jealous of. You know what I mean? Like Chuck Norris is like, whoa, Boots, dude. Whoa. Take it easy, bro. I'm the fucking king of awesome pictures, alright?
Yeah.
Let's take it easy. We don't want to have to sidekick somebody in the face for taking off the fucking tires with your teeth.
I just wonder how much of an issue he had in, like, kindergarten with the fact that his last name is Putin. Does it have the same impact over there that it does over here? Because over here, I can tell you,
fucked up, dude.
I know quite a few kids of elementary school age, of high school age. I too was one at some point. If there was some kid whose last name was Putin, I mean that's just, I mean, it sucks for them. But that's just funny. And he's gonna end up being a ruthless, badass fucker because he's gonna be picked on all of his life.
Right.
So
he's overcompensating at this point now.
Right. He's really just trying to make up for the Chernobyl disaster.
Yes.
He went all Chernobyl
Yes.
and just went. He exploded. He reacted, and I mean, this is what we have now. Is like, I bet he drives a monster truck. Like, and it's probably a smart car jacked
Into
up.
Senate, yeah.
Like a smart car jacked up though, like, because he still has to parallel park.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he has Hulk Hogan driving it.
Right, because they're still poor in Russia, right? I mean, it's still cold as fuck over there, right?
Yeah.
They're like struggling. A lot of people with, I just, when I picture Russia, I picture like Seattle weather, but like really cold.
Just like post-apocalyptic
Very,
Seattle.
Exactly, like fires and trash bins, children of Minish.
See,
shoes, running around, bare feet.
Oh man,
ice
like, and like
ground.
instead of shoes, there's like, they just like have like
clogs,
like ace
Wait,
bandages
wrong
wrapped
country.
up around their feet, and that's what they walk around on.
Hey Kenny, you know what? When I think of Russia, I think of one movie.
I think. Okay,
Do you know what that one movie may be?
Thunder in Paradise?
No, that doesn't take place in Russia.
Does it have Val Kilmer in it?
It did have Hulk Hogan, though.
No, it's not. It doesn't have Val Kilmer in it.
Hmm.
But however, no, they didn't have Hulk Hogan. Maybe one of the other movies had Hulk Hogan in it.
Really?
Maybe.
Nanny?
That was in this series.
The Nanny?
Whenever I think of Russia, I think of Rocky IV, man.
Oh, yeah.
Ivan Drago.
Drago.
I'll crush you.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the best montages ever was in Rocky IV.
With Bridget Jones, or what's her name?
Yeah.
That's the diary. Sorry.
Yeah.
Bridget Nielsen.
Bridget Nielsen.
Bridget Jones' diary?
Yeah.
Whoa.
No, not a slightly chunky, overweight writer. No, not that one.
Not a overweight, horrible, like, worst acting job I've ever seen of an English accent. What's her name?
Renee Zellweger.
Renee Zellweger, yeah. Like, horrible, like, worse than Natalie Portman in V for Vendetta's fucking accent, or what's his name?
Or
Johnny,
Madonna's, like,
or
real
honestly,
life accent.
for that fact, I think the worst of all time would have to be Keanu Reeves trying to do an English accent in Bram Stoker's Dracula, because great movie, horrible for fucking him.
He did it as well in Dangerous Liaisons.
Right.
Where Uma Thurman takes her top off. It's the one movie she does it in.
Uma Thurman has the ugliest feet I've ever seen in my life. Remember
She would not be a foot model.
Dude,
Ew,
she would. Oh my god,
All
in
of
Kill
those
Bill,
jeans
she
were
solidifies.
sucked
I'm gonna tell you right now, QVC said we are not calling her after Kill Bill. They will never call her after Kill Bill. That
No
scene when
foot
she teaches
modeling.
herself how to move her toes, you know.
Were those toes?
Yeah, those were.
Oh my
I don't know. They
They
look
look
like
monkey fingers.
they look like or midget fingers. I'm sorry, little
and you
people
would be
fingers.
well versed in those.
I'm working on it. I'm trying to get.
You know,
I'm working on diameter.
You'll
Is
get
my
there
main
one
thing
day.
right now. Is working on the
Yeah.
diameter and making sure I can fold the lips over the head first.
Quentin Tarantino must really like Uma Thurman's feet because in Pulp Fiction she spent most of her time out of her shoes.
Out of her shoes, right, with the powder on the ground and dancing, and
Well, he does have a shock value to all of his movies. So
he does.
That would
And
make
foot
sense.
modeling is obviously it.
Part of it.
We found the secret, and you know he always has a tie from every movie to another movie. You know, like this is the old acclaimed Vincent Vega's brother is in Reservoir Dogs.
He is.
Yeah, that's Michael Madsen is
Yeah.
Vincent Vega's brother.
Yeah.
And there was another one too where somehow From Dusk Till Dawn ties into Desperado. No. How does that?
It ties in with the penis gun.
What?
That's where it ties in because
You know what?
remember Salma Hayek is going through Antonio Banderas' guitar case and she pulls out the the double barreled 6-shooter
Yeah.
that is on the and she's like, I don't even want to ask about that.
I hear that's
And
really
then-
good for exfoliation, though.
If you pull it out.
Who Salma Hayek? Yes,
Yes.
she is.
The double barreled.
She's also good for fucking
Oh.
up a keyboard.
So we had started all this back at the Dictators.
Yeah,
Ah,
I know.
Fascist Dictators.
And we brought it. We still brought it back to hand modeling and foot modeling.
Uma Thurman. I'm
So
making a connection. I don't know. Maybe
Can
she's the
I
next
go
one.
ahead and sound off another recording, one more, and then we'll call it quits on that segment?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Let's see.
So we're watching MTV's True Life. I don't know. I don't know what I am. Like, I think I'm a transgender. So anyway, so there's a dude on here that's rolled out of bed or whatever, and he's brushing his teeth, and he's wearing like a, what would you call that, babe? Like a fucking, that thing he was wearing. It looked like a sock around his chest. What do y'all call that?
Like a tube top bra.
Like a tube top bra thing he's wearing, but he doesn't have boobs yet. He's getting ready to get boobs. He's like gone to the doctor, yada yada yada. So I was asking my significant other here if do you think they would blur out if he took that off? Would they blur it out even though he's still a dude? Would they still blur out his boobs?
So yeah, at what point does it become blurrable?
Right.
You know?
When you start leaking colostrum, I think that's when it starts becoming
Do
inappropriate.
they give
to
you enough
show.
hormones for you to leak colostrum when you become a dude or a chick?
Well, studies have shown that actually men can produce it. Men,
So shit.
Yeah.
Is
so
that the
like,
clear stuff that comes out of your dick before you come?
it comes out of your nipple, but yeah,
Oh,
it's
so-
like the
so-
same consistency.
thing.
So at
It's
what,
great
at what
for
age,
moisturization.
Different colors.
Really.
at what age
Colors.
does
Goes back
that
to
happen?
exfoliation.
At what age does that happen?
It usually happens when a man is really close to his wife and his wife is pregnant. He'll start actually producing
Well,
colostrum.
no,
in his breasts, too.
I'm talking about a woman.
Oh, and only when you're pregnant. Yeah.
Okay, so that means if you're not pregnant, that means we can see your boobs and they shouldn't be fuzzied out. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, you know, love a good
Yes.
stare.
Absolutely.
The funny thing was, though, when
Make
we
the world
watched
go round.
it, a couple of minutes after we made that, they did show his, I guess it was a he,
Yeah.
boobs.
Oh, it was a total dude.
And they looked
It looked weird.
like a ugly pair of woman's breasts, but they were much meatier than a man's nipples
Picture
and breasts.
B. Arthur's tits
So
just before
it
she
was
died.
weird because
Did
I've
they look
seen,
like Dean's
Was it a
tits?
cold day?
I've seen ugly
No.
women's breasts that look very similar to these breasts, so it is a funny question of when is it go too far, and
Like,
now it has
you
to be
have
blurred.
to blur those out. Like,
How much fat has to be in there?
like how
You know?
could they like do that and then like come on again and they blur? Oh shit, we fucked up in editing and now we have to.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I
You have to
think
get with the SHIT team.
and
Yes,
I really do.
exactly. Yeah.
And I think we just live in a society where moobs are not equal to
Nice moves.
They're just not
Fuck
equal
hashtag
to
moves at God Save My Jags, and we can get that.
So
one.
if he had
Wait.
the if he had the
Not
bottom
true
half
equally.
surgically adjusted, then at that point they'd have to be blurred.
So then on Cinemax, do they have to show
I don't
full
know.
frontal?
Was
or?
there a lot of cleavage? Because I could see the cleavage.
No,
being
they
much
were to the
cleavage
sides.
Maybe
They
it's
were,
a
there was
cleavage
no
issue.
They were
cleavage.
very
Oh, so they were
odd,
like awkward.
triangular
Like a
out.
You don't know
Like
if
a
they're
sock
looking
of
at you or
nickels.
looking around
Like
you.
a sock
very-
with nickels hold really tight. Like really, like picture
on
a
a
sock.
windy day when the wind is blowing at your chest.
Kind of a cone
blowing
shape.
them sideways.
Or like laying on your back where they're almost in the armpit.
Oh, ooh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Kind
I
of
know.
cone and pointy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm picturing like 50s boobs. You know,
Yeah.
like always coney, very
Yes.
Coney Islandish.
Yeah.
You know, I picture hot
Yeah.
dog eating competitions.
Not attractive. So I guess maybe that has something to do with it. It's
Was the
the
Japanese guy there?
attractiveness. No man was going to see that and be like, bonerized. So maybe it's the attractiveness
Bonerized.
that causes the blur.
Oh, so if they're a good set of tits, then they have
Yeah.
to blur. Like if those were like some
Yeah.
beautiful Pam Anderson before the cancer,
Nice moves.
or before or hepatitis, those boobs they would blur them out if they were a
Yeah,
nice
maybe.
set. I got you.
Yeah.
But if they're ugly,
Then it's
all good.
inappropriate.
Let it ride. Let it ride.
Exactly.
Why can't they do that then when they do like those surgery shows, like I Got a Botched Job or like
They
A&E's True
do
Life, I Got a
sometimes.
Botched
Actually,
Job?
they do sometimes.
They do.
Unblur those.
They do. Oh, they just, but they
Yeah.
don't. They blur the nip. That's what I don't get. Like I see everything.
Sometimes yes and sometimes no yes.
No, yes. good,
Yeah.
name. I like that. So anyway, because honestly, what it boils down to is that they looked like Hiroshima aftermath. Like
Hiroshima Aftermath Red.
yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
Tiananmen
The
Square
nipples are
tan.
probably over red, like too red, like like not like
Almost
swastika
brown.
Germany red,
Almost brown.
but like Hiroshima Japanese flag red.
It's just a nice soothing color if you want to paint your child's nursery and have them grow up and end up like Vladimir Putin.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure that that's
he
what
grew
his
up with
parents
swastika red fucking walls. Dude.
decided. Maybe one wall of swastika red meets Hiroshima Aftermath red, and like a couple tertiary walls of like Tiananmen Square tan.
Some
Or like-
Just
and
to
then some
add a
fatheads.
little
Like vaporized gray.
support. Yeah,
Like
vaporized
bones?
victim gray. Yeah, like
Oh,
that dark.
Like there's just like
dark gray.
shadows burnt into the wall. Like,
Yeah,
it's just-
because nothing
This is so
promotes
fucked up.
sweet dreams.
So
are
then,
made of
as
these
he
like
grows
that.
up,
I
he
mean,
would
I
then
really-
have the
When
porn posters that you were speaking of earlier.
Oh God. Okay, I'm sorry. Sticky is like hanging on a point here. I got to hear this because he always has fucking pure phenomenalness.
Well, you're talking. Well, thank you for building it up. It's really gonna suck now.
Way to put you
Yeah,
on the
but it's-
spot.
oh,
but
this
it-
better be good.
You guys are talking about Nazi red and Hiroshima red and all that kind of stuff. You got it all wrong, man. He's from Russia.
Oh,
I
thought that leaked over.
They've got the CCCP red, so his room was probably all red, like really Russia red, and on one wall it
But
had
dim
C,
sky gray, Seattle
on
gray.
3
Yeah,
walls it had
yeah.
the letter C, floor to ceiling, and on the other wall it said P.
Right.
CCCP.
Funny historical fact, which also equals as
Like
a
I said, I wasn't
childhood
going to live up to the build up.
nursery story that was told to Vladimir Putin as a child. Do you know those beautiful cone buildings that are in Moscow that Moscow is famous for? Well, they were designed by an architect who the Tsar, who wanted them built, he said, hey man, will you build these? He built them, they're beautiful, they're great, and so the Tsar determined that they were too beautiful, he didn't want them replicated, decided to take the guy's eyes out of his skull. So that's a little background story of kind of the nursery rhymes that old Vlad has been told all his life. Yeah.
No shit.
True fact.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah.
So now he's dealing with
It's a book. It was a pop-up book that he was read as a child.
What was
page
the-
by page? It was
What was
lovely.
the Tom Cruise movie?
Sweet
Oh,
stories.
he's dealing with like a Minority Report issue where he needs to find a guy with some eyes.
Was the
Yeah,
3D
yeah.
part?
It might have been the guy
plucking?
that built those.
That guy was
those
Russian too.
structures.
Holy
Yeah.
fuck!
We've made a connection.
There it is. Minority Report, Putin, and Nazi Red. That's where we're at.
Full circle.
But no, in all seriousness, guys, let's take a break.
Oh yeah.
I can, if you want, I can find out about the 2 seats that are next to me.
And we're back. We just had a nice little 30 minutes conversation, and we're like, oh yeah, we should probably start recording again. That's the best though, is when you have before. I've done this with Dean and even with Matt, where we've talked 30 minutes beforehand about what we're going to talk about, and then go into another story. and not even use a single bit of that on the podcast because we just are content generating bastards over here. You know, what that is, our new hashtag for the show is one of the new ones is the content generating, because one of the episodes I talk about how the over in Poland they're throwing bananas at the Nigerian players and doing like hooting.
Oh my goodness!
Like you know, doing like fucking monkey hoots at them.
awful.
Dude, it's terrible. The racism in Europe is. You go back and listen to.
No,
it's called.
It's outrageous.
It's called Race Around the Show. It's about 4 or 5 episodes back.
Yeah.
I do, and this is all stuff that I got. Like I read it and I actually heard it on Adam Schefter on ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was a story that I heard on the radio, on AM radio, just kind of, oh shit, I'm gonna check that out. And then I went on Google and The Sporting Life, I think is what it's called, and I went and read up on it. Dude, it is unreal. Like in Italy, there's a black guy, I think, or 2 black guys that play on the Italian national team, and they boo them. And there's like a section of like people my age,
right,
20 to 30, that have like swastikas hanging off the balconies, like big.
Oh my gosh!
You know how like at games people make their big towel wraps like with shit saying it on them. Well, they're like putting swastikas and like pictures of apes and like doing the hand salute and all that. Well, it's funny. We did that episode. Literally 2 weeks later, Adam Carolla does an episode, and him and Anthony Jeselnik, which has a show on Comedy Central,
right,
start talking about throwing bananas at the Nigerian players in Poland. And I'm like, son of a bitch. I go, and me and Dean were like, I like to think that we generated that content. They just went and picked us out of iTunes, because I think out of 5,000, we probably rank 4,999 and 1/2.
That's a good statistic.
We're starting.
You know,
we're a start.
cranking on down the line.
If there's a last place, we're like a half in, because you know how like they do statistics, and that Mojo is right now averaging 2.3 a carry or 2.2.
Right.
He's not running like they don't. If anybody's listening in Europe and stuff, we don't actually throw the decimal on when we're watching a football game. It's like, it's like third and 3.67 ongoing decimal with a bar over the top. Like fuck, he's gonna struggle for that ongoing. He's gonna really struggle.
Sitting down with your Texas Instruments calculator.
No shit. I'm using my Texas calculator, my scientific calc. I'm getting crazy with that while comprehending Spanish.
Well, that kind of brings up something I've always thought about is when are they going to start putting the positioning sensors in the footballs? Like right now with tennis and everything, if you they have the reviews, they're computer generated by a image that is taken from different cameras, and they can place everything exactly where it needs to be placed. When are we going to get to a point to where they know exactly where the ball should be marked, to where it will be
that's soon,
down to the inch that it's close enough?
That is soon to come, I bet.
But we didn't want to get into football yet.
Not yet. That's for later.
All right.
I had a question. Trailer parks, the ones that are really jam packed in there with trailers, like to the point where they still have license plates, and they're like regular mobile homes, but there's license plates on the trailer.
Sure.
When they call deliveries, do they give them an address, or do they give them a plate number?
I think they just give them like a pink flamingo number. Like
Pink flamingos.
I have 8 pink flamingos out front of my trailer.
Don't be confused with the neighbor that has 6.
They have 7 down the
7.
street, 6 up the street. You want to go for the one with 8.
Yeah. And
yard animals, gnomes. I think just those markers help them designate
so we're using
where
landmarks.
the pizza goes.
They use landmarks.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, I mean that's trailer park code.
Do they have a
Yeah.
overhangs?
Are my
An awning? There's an awning.
Christmas lights
Lights
on
still
in
in-
May?
yes.
Yes, that's the house you want to go to.
Is there an IROC Z parked in the front yard?
That doesn't have any wheels or an engine.
Yeah, and a number 3 sticker that
Are
says "Gone to
there-
race in a better place."
Are there barefoot children playing with fire in the front yard?
Absolutely.
Yes. That's
Are there
the
rat
one
tails? Absolutely.
with rat tails and a mohawk? Yeah, that's the trailer you want to go to.
Are there a numerous amount of dream catchers hanging in the windowsill? Is there a rug hung on the wall with a wolf howling at the moon?
Well,
They're very large women in tie-dye.
Kenny was going further away from trailer parks and more towards what you would think is a trailer park in maybe New Mexico.
No, I've seen it here. I've seen it in Middleburg, my
That's
man.
in Fruit Cove.
And Fruit Cove. I've seen it in Fruit Cove too, off Fruit Cove Road.
Yes.
I have
Rugs on the wall?
Huh?
Rugs on the wall?
Yes.
My-
Well,
Yeah,
rugs or towels. No,
I-
they do Budweiser towels.
I think that they call them tapestries. However,
Tapestries.
Tapestries?
however,
Tapestries?
they
My
really are just
grandmother
hung up rugs.
Always has rugs hanging on her wall. Like she'll have like it's very Midwestern. Like she'll have
Like some
she
type
has
of
this
Indian thing?
it's not a rug. I guess it's a blanket, but it's like one of those blankets that has
Yeah.
the fringe around the outside, and it has all of her grandkids like names stitched on her, or whatever, and it's hanging like she has different. And she had an eagle one.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Eagle,
the gold,
like,
the old
yes.
eagle with like American flag. That's
One day, Kenny
like got
was
a little
doing
bit of
this,
9/11
like,
remnants underneath
these
it.
trailer park references, and he started naming off these things, and he said Elvis plates. My great grandmother has a collection
Elvis
of
collection?
Elvis plates. Rugs on the wall. My mom's mother
He's the
has
king.
rugs on her wall. He said a horse collection. My father's mother has a horse collection. Like all of these
Figurines,
things. Yes.
absolutely.
And now, if you combine them all in one house, it becomes much.
Certainly.
But the funny thing is that it's all very commonplace in the Midwest, where all my family's from. Like all these things
Nebraska,
are not necessarily
son.
weird.
However, you're missing out puzzles that are put together and then glued and then used as
Oh,
wall
yes.
art. That I think
Yes.
is the tipping point.
Yes.
Where
I can't
it
say that
turns-
any of my family has
Oh
that.
my God.
That's
that's
where
so
it
true.
turns into trailer
Yes,
park. You go from
yes.
Midwest to trailer park at that point.
Yeah, because they
Yes.
put like extra Elmers on there to give it a nice glazed top.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh no, that's a
Yeah.
finish on that
Nice
kid.
shiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hang it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
put
there
a
are
nice
certain
little 2x4
points where you
border
cross
around
from
it.
Country
I mean, that's
slash
class.
mix straight into
That is
white trash.
classy. That is so classy. Oh my god.
Time, effort went into that.
Yes.
Oh my gosh! Like I said, like lots of dream catchers I've noticed is like a very common, and I always it seems to be either a Firebird, Pontiac Firebird, 1980s preferably,
Yes.
golden wing or golden bird on the hood.
You're forgetting
That's
Disney
dated.
characters.
That's dated.
You
Oh,
mean like,
God,
you mean like
babe.
an IROC
Disney character.
Oh,
Yes.
babe, high five on that.
Yes.
Disney character shirts that are way too big.
Maybe tattoos.
Tattoos,
Disney
Tasmanian
character tattoos a
Yes.
lot of times.
Yeah.
Tweety birds.
Pooh
That's a
Bear.
very Pooh
Pooh
Bear.
On the ankle.
On the
also.
ankle. That's where I was
Yes.
going
And
with
a
it.
rose on the
Ankle.
breast.
Yes,
Feel
rose on
it?
the
Maybe
breast.
the back of the shoulder.
Yes, my
Yeah.
mom has a back shoulder
But
rebel
high,
flag on
high,
hers.
yes.
My mom has a rebel flag on her back.
Probably some
shoulder.
Chinese writing somewhere.
Oh, well, you know, and that was done by
Or
their
something
friend.
tribal.
A lot of incense being held by the mouth of a dragon. You
Yeah.
know, like this.
Yes.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
pretty much
A
anything.
lot of
anything-
like dull and like a lot of dangerous weapons
Yeah.
hanging
Incense
like that are
being
dull
used
though,
as
they're not
like
real
a
weapons.
fragrance in the
As a-
house. Yeah.
Pretty much
Like,
anything and everything that you can buy at Spencer's Gifts shoved into a trailer. Then
Yes.
that's where
Oh,
you're at.
you gotta have
Lava
Billy
lamps.
Big Mouth Bass that sings
That comes
that
off the
comes
wall.
out of the wall 3Ds you. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
As you walk by the motion
Don't
sensor
worry.
though.
Be happy.
Oh my God.
You have to have the high
Be
tech
happy.
motion
Yeah.
sensor one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the ones they use at the fucking urinals at Walmart. You know, they got those sensors in them. Those are the best. So those
The
are all
trough
common
where you
traits
wash your
of
hands.
white trash, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've been there. I lived it for a couple years back in the Ocala Denellen days. I drove a Ford truck that had a big antenna on it. Not ashamed to say.
Well, you couldn't get radio signal out there, so
No,
I don't
you
blame
couldn't.
you. I mean, that's a necessity.
You had to be able to call in, you know,
That's-
the choppers into Vietnam and whatnot.
It's
you know.
really a country boy can survive at that point
Mhm.
when you can have
Yes.
radio contact.
Oh, Garth Brooks said it best, didn't he? Actually, that wasn't even his song, was it? That was
No,
Country
yeah.
Boy Can Survive. What is that? That's Charlie Daniels?
No. He was double went down to Georgia.
Buffy.
Nelson? Willie Nelson? No.
I think Charlie Daniels did that shit. Uh-oh. Pull it out.
Oh,
Get on the internet. I thought it was Charlie
Oh,
Daniels.
sorry, Kenny. I thought you were talking about pulling it
I
out.
think it's what's that? Alabama maybe.
No.
Was he the
No.
one whose kid was in that Whites documentary? Hank Williams?
Could
No?
be
maybe,
Hank
yes.
Williams.
I think it
Hank
might be.
Williams Jr.
Yeah,
Pound it.
bam.
Pound it.
There's my IROC Z
Bam.
coming out.
Very nice.
That's my broke down IROC Z in front of my single wide trailer with the Nevada plates on it.
Nevada. Yes,
And
very
the
sophisticated. though.
8 flamingos hanging outside of my...
And that's how they find delivery drivers.
Oh,
You look for the
rolling
IROC
di-
Z with the Nevada
There you
plates.
go.
That's how you find
Felt
the house.
dice also in the car.
Felt dice,
Oh,
absolutely.
that's always good.
Much like the crushed velvet umbrella.
Umbrella.
You know, those are
I
needed.
mean, that's just classy.
It really is.
I mean-
Aramis, Armani, what's the difference? You know, what's the fucking
A
difference?
few letters.
Yeah.
A few letters.
That's
Certainly
all-
some
that's really
quality.
all
A
it
few,
comes
a
down
few letters
to.
and a few $100.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, it brought me back to I was telling
Maybe
Matt.
a thread count.
I was telling our buddies at Stimpy82 was on the podcast a couple shows back, and Matthew Stimpson that was on. I was telling him a story. Like I would look at things and be like, it's fine. That's Armani. Fuck it. I don't feel like finishing the rest of that word. I'm just gonna go with the first three, and we're gonna call it quits. I don't feel like rotating it to see the rest. Or like a time, Jason and I, which is our very, very bestest friend of all time, Jason Coyne, that, 6 years last Friday? Yeah. 6 years last Friday he passed away. Very young, way too young. But anyway, I have millions of stories with him, but one particular that reminded me of this is we pulling off of Hamilton here in Jacksonville onto Park Street, and we're in my truck. I had a radar detector in my truck, and we both have beers between our lap. It's probably 4 o'clock in the afternoon on our way to East Street, and we were going through Riverside the back way through, and I have a lit bowl of tobacco, of course.
Because
this is
nothing
6 years
screams
ago.
pull me over.
Yeah,
like
a lit
that.
bowl, so it reeks, windows are down, cops' windows down. He's across the street from us now, and Jason looks at me like, oh shit, dude, hang on, chill out. And I'm like, dude, it's fine, trust me. Dude, the radar detector's not going off. He looks at me and goes, you motherfucker, you are dead serious right now. Because you think because the radar detector's not going off that everything is all good, that you have a safety bubble around you that is completely fine. That dude's window's down, you fucking moron. And I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't even think about that, man, my bad. We should probably put the windows up, but just like one of many where I just didn't really fully comprehend it off the bat.
Yeah.
A quick,
Only half thought it through.
And
like
then-
cutting a pancake and cutting a quarter sliver off and then folding the other half and eating it in one bite. Like,
You know
what
what
did
I
you?
really feel like doing right now?
What?
I just want to go do some waffles.
Waffle House sounds fucking like, oh my god, dude,
Dustin.
unbelievable. In Halpin, 79, I think, is Nicholas Halpin. He was on Heated Conversations, which is the second episode. Basically, very upset, very mad.
He's very persnickety that night.
Very mad.
He's very.
Threw a tantrum.
Persnickety.
We're not going to hold to it. I love him to death. It happens. I mean, I've never done anything like that, but it happens. But anyway, threw a temper tantrum, and
He didn't want a waffle.
he didn't want to go to Waffle. He wanted to go the fuck home, and we were the only ride, and we were fucking hitting some Waffle House. It was 2 a.m., and
in the parking lot.
Dustin Espinoza sitting there right next to me, drunk as I've seen him in I don't know how long. Guy could barely walk. I had to carry him. We had to basically carry his ass to the car.
Which is probably his state at this very moment as we're speaking
Yes,
about him.
hammered, dude. Dude was wasted. Is trying to cheer up Nick. He doesn't even know Nick is mad. Like, he's sitting in between me and Nick, and we're in the back seat of where were we?
We were in the
My
back
Jeep.
seat of Erica's.
Oh, we were in the back of Erica's Jeep, and Dustin has
Iraqis.
no clues, completely oblivious. He's been inside, passed out in the car, while me and Nick have been yelling at the top of our lungs at each other, throwing cups and the whole nine, about to fight. And we're like, dude, we're going to Waffle House, I'm sorry. And completely oblivious, we pull up, and Dustin, what's up, man? You want to do any waffle? You want to do some waffle? like it was basically like it was like Coke, like, dude, we're gonna go do some waffles.
Man, I got these great waffles, man. They're gonna just
This is
blow
fucking
your mind,
unreal.
man. Let's just do them. Let's do them right now. Line them up.
Like,
No.
it was unbelievable. I think it was like one of the first times Erica probably had ever hung out with Dustin or met Dustin.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
we were
it
out
was-
partying, and it
And
was
that
right
was-
after his divorce, I think.
That was quite an interesting night because we did go, if you remember,
He got picked up by a cab.
to the ghetto. And, to the country ghetto. There were Christmas lights. There were pink flamingos in that house that we went to. I went to the bathroom.
Oh.
There's a big hole in the floor that I could actually see, the
where
ground.
were we at?
It was,
Where was that?
I don't, South Side, maybe? It was odd.
Oh, was that the
I think
house
we-
in the hood or in the woods?
We were on 95, and then we hit a vortex, and we went into
Nice.
this alternate
Great
world
vortex
where
drop.
all of my worst nightmares came true
What
in
were
one
we doing,
home.
though? What the hell were we doing?
I have no idea.
Whose house would we have been
Waffles, apparently.
at? Oh my god. No, we were downtown. I thought we were downtown at Mark's and... Oh,
That was
no,
after the
no.
fact.
Oh my god, I remember now. we went to Erica's and the Megan's his ex-wife's old friends that lived over by Bowles, but like on the shittier side of Powers Avenue. And then after that, we went downtown because it was lame. But the bathroom, you had to basically pee in the sink because the toilet was disgusting. And
there's like a family of small wildebeest living inside of the toilet.
Yes, because after that, we went down to Mark's, or we went down to Bay. We went down to Bay Street, and Nick went with us and rode with us because you offered to drive us.
I have been to those people's house before, and
disgusting.
you had to. Okay, we didn't know any better.
There's no
to
shot
bring our
glasses.
own
They're like, here,
cups,
use this one.
So
We're
we
like,
had to
no.
clean a cup to use to make a drink. So we conveniently left and went and got solo cups because it was that disgusting. Like they had a full blown party for something, which I'm sure is what they were doing in this situation, and couldn't even actually maybe just get some solo cups and move the dishes somewhere else. No, it was like full blown pile in the sink.
Like we got ice in here, and they're all reaching and grabbing the ice. I'm like, ooh,
on the counter for months of God knows what.
All of our friends,
just disgusting.
All the people that were with us, I'm like, hey, I gotta cool it outside.
Yes, we were cleaning our cups in the bathroom because the kitchen sink was so full of shit.
Oh gosh,
we had to clean our cups in the bathroom.
I did, however, admire their puzzle art and Mickey Mouse figurine collection. It was fabulous. I mean, the best this side of the Mason-Dixon line.
Oh, yeah.
It was
pretty
just
good.
covered, floor to ceiling.
There's a lot on this side.
And their NASCAR paraphernalia. I mean, just everywhere. Number 8s. I'll never forget it. It was like
Dale Earnhardt Jr., Bubba.
If I turned sideways, it looked like the infinity mark, and I would, vortex myself back into reality.
The night that Sticky met you, the night that he met you, he just got the Jeep like maybe a week before, and we were out at this party out in Middleburg, right? Outside of Middleburg, or in Middleburg, heart of it, probably. Out at Carlos's property that he owned with somebody or whatever. Anyway, and Sticky apparently had maybe coming in, it's a dirt road. He, got on a little bit in the Jeep and threw a little rooster tail. Nothing crazy. He didn't fuck anything up. It was dirt, a dirt road. Mm-hmm. And we're sitting there, and Pat gets up and walks over to Sticky, and Pat's like, hey, Kenny, come on, man, let's walk over here real quick. This dude comes up with a 22, this fat fucking redneck, missing teeth, barefoot, walking through the middle of the woods with a 22 going, hey, who's that in that white Jeep right there? Remember that shit, dude?
Yeah.
And Sticky's like, whoa, it was me, man. Like, hey, whoa, chill out. Hey, man, you can't be fucking hauling at. It was like 10 o'clock at night. There was no kids anywhere. He didn't root up somebody's yard.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, man, you can't be coming through here like that, man. And he came up with a fucking 22, a rifle. I'm like, you came over here to tell him to slow down and with a fucking rifle in bare feet. Like, come on, man, what is wrong with you? Like, seriously? Like, he came over full intentions of fighting. Like, Pat hopped up the first one to get up, walk over to Sticky because he saw a little distress, a tiny bit of distress. And it's like, all right, we need to take care of this situation and get the fuck out of here.
Just another reason why I love Kenny and Pat in that situation. They got in front of me.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on?
In front of this guy, and they're my defenders.
I have to ask you: did the theme of deliverance run through your head as the situation was unfolding?
If he was by himself, maybe I think it would. But I think we would have taken care of that.
Kenny likes to squeal like a pig.
He may have had other intentions for that 22 rifle.
Yeah?
Yeah, you just never know.
See, here's the thing, though. He would have fucked up because, I've been practicing this loosen on my butthole thing for a long time.
You would have surprised him.
Dude, I would have been like, go ahead,
buddy.
the whole
arm.
Dude, I'm like, you got something bigger than that? I'd wear his ass out. Get him tired and then beat his ass.
So what else we got on the rundown, man?
All right,
Well, speaking of Sticky and Erica meeting, that's the great.
Oh gosh, that is a great transition. Last time, you guys, my great loyal one listener that I think maybe we lost him. Is Gotti still listening? I hope he's still listening. Last time Sticky was on, he was 2 days before going on his honeymoon and the wedding, of course. The whole 9, right? That was y'all went on the honeymoon right after the wedding, right?
We had
a couple days, right?
We had the wedding on Saturday and we left for Europe on Tuesday.
And we did the podcast the Thursday night.
Yeah.
That Thursday night we did the podcast. So that was the last time we left off. So,
Start there.
start it off, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, things have gone well. You know, I came out to him about my $600,000 of debt and the fact that I used to be a man, and he seems to be fine with it, and we're still together to this day. So we're working through some of those issues, and
no shit. The first morning that we woke up, she's like, "So, Alan, I want to tell you about a couple things." And those were the two things that she said. I'm like,
really? Was it like in the bed? Like,
yeah,
now that we're married, I need to tell you
post-coitus. Yeah, it was
nice.
You know,
Where did you hide that big veiny Coke can of yours?
That's for him to know.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I guess that is a personal
Maybe
question.
he's a little more loose back there than we thought. Maybe
Oh,
To
nice.
be
How's that
honest
dealing
with you,
with?
it's like a mini keg, like a
Oh, that's cute. A pony.
like a small Foster's can. It's
Nice.
Really
Oh,
fabulous.
oil can.
He loves it.
Nice.
Australian for penis.
Da-doom. Love it.
I don't know.
But yeah,
How are things going for you?
we had the wedding and we left and went on the honeymoon. We went to Paris.
Where he climbed every statue that he could and made me take photos
That's
of him.
Did you do an epic
Before
fail while you
security
were there?
came?
Any epic fails? Any rope swings?
No,
No.
thank God.
No epic fails. I threw a paper airplane off of the Eiffel Tower. Did that while we were there. We
I'm sure that's illegal, but we'll go ahead.
we went through the Paris catacombs. That was pretty interesting.
Is that like
Seeing all
church
the
stuff?
well, no, it's back in the
That's Vatican.
1700s.
back in the late 1700s. They ran out of space in their burial plots in Paris, so they dug up all the bodies that were out there and put them on the catacombs and tunnels underneath
an
Paris.
underground
that's
web
actually
of
creepy.
tunnels. And so what they did with the bones is that they laid the bones and the skulls out in alternating patterns, and so you'll have all of these rows of bones, and then you'll have a strip of
femurs.
patterns of skulls. And so
it's
sometimes
like
they would put the
Predator and
skulls
shit.
in cross sections, so they would look like a little cross.
There was one
And they
that
would
was
have
an
little
entire
markers
column.
that said, well, this is from
column
the
of
cemetery of St. Magdalene, and this is from the cemetery of St. Joseph.
Wow.
And so you can identify where your loved one
So it's
was.
like a place you don't want to be at nighttime by yourself.
No,
Pretty creepy.
no.
Yeah,
Very
it was
haunted.
pretty
Very, very weird.
We
Very
went to
awkward.
Jim Morrison's grave that same day.
That's
very
badass.
morbid.
So
yeah.
we did see that. That was the last day. That was one of the few requests that I put in for Paris.
We did the
you know,
Louvre and saw lots of nudity. It was-
Real
saw,
quick,
saw the
could
Mona
you
Lisa.
send me the text of you, or take a picture and text me you walking Abbey, doing the Abbey walk?
Yeah, I can.
And
do that.
I'd like to put it on Twitter so people can see your Abbey walk.
Yeah,
the
when we
very
went
nice
to
place there.
when we went to London, we went to Abbey Road. I got to walk across the crosswalk, and
You know that
we-
Beatles picture, babe? You ever seen like the old Beatles
Yes,
picture of them
yes.
walking
And they're all
across the
walking
street?
Yes,
forward.
yeah.
He did the.
We walked that.
Oh,
They did
I
that
wanna
picture
see
of that. It's pretty badass.
awesome.
But,
Probably
We
very
saw the,
cliche, but fuck you,
oh,
I
yeah.
like it. It's partying, dude.
No,
I
We
would
saw
take
the,
it in a heartbeat.
love that.
Monty Python.
Monty
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 Python's.
Pythons.
Monty Python.
Also known as Ponty Python.
Spamalot.
Nice.
And it was fun.
we got to sit in on a session of Parliament.
Which
That
is
was pretty awesome.
hilarious.
There was this old Scottish man that just was talking about all kinds of stuff, and he was talking about they were talking about doing fuel and things
Clean
like that.
energy in Scotland.
Yeah, and the guy was like, yeah, this was going on up there, and it was just ethnic cleansing. That's right, I said it, ethnic cleansing.
Wow.
And and it was like, somebody from one side would be talking to somebody from the other, and it's like, oh well,
Basically just killing off a race.
Yeah.
Nice. Paul Pot style.
Scots. Yeah.
the honorable lady over there does not know what she does not.
Yeah.
What was it? What was the quote?
The funniest thing about the British is even in their insults, they're quite lovely about it. So we saw in Parliament one day, this woman was talking about the clean energy and how it was having a devastating effect in northern England. And one man stood up and he said, well, pardon me, but I think that that the lady representative hasn't a clue what she's talking about. And so he went upon his discussion, and then what they always do is they do retracts in their daily newspaper. They have 3 papers that go out every day, and they're free to the public. And there's a morning, an afternoon, and an evening standard is what they call them. And that's where they print all of their retracts. And even in their apologies, they're quite flippant. So in his apology the next day for being so nasty to her in Parliament, he said, I am very apologetic that the Mrs. Representative felt like I was insulting her. However, I still believe that she has no clue what she's talking about.
Right.
It's just the most underhanded comments ever.
So, so when you say the sterilization, is it like what the Germans did with the sterilization when they were just like sterilizing random people?
No, it was
okay.
Ethnic
cleansing.
It was.
It always ties back to Germans.
It's always
so
funny because we think of racism in America as being black on white racism. Well, over there, it's really just everybody's white. Yeah. However, it's cultural racism,
like gypsies and pikeys.
Oh my gosh,
we
got in a cab out of
Jippos is what they call them.
When we took the train from France to London, we got in a cab and the guy was talking all about the gypsies and how the gypsies are ruining it and how the gypsies. I'm not trying to be racist, but the gypsies are just ruining
so they
the
do
country.
That with the gypsies,
and they do it everywhere. And so it's just so funny because we associate it being color on color. There, it's just culture on culture, and so racism is alive and well in Europe. It is everywhere.
That's crazy, yeah. Because there's a couple guys that work with us that are from the small town in England somewhere. I don't know shit about it where they're from, but anyway, I always ask them because we used to watch My Big Fat Gypsy Wedding, and it was the Euro trash. Like they are like unbelievable, like unreal.
It's like our New Jersey.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, to the T, to the.
It's our Snooki.
Except these women know how to cook and clean. Is that a little sexist? Maybe. Perhaps.
So
anyway, get back to that.
So then we left. We got in a car, a nice little Peugeot, and it was odd driving on the opposite side of the road.
And on the opposite side
and on the opposite side of the car, it was a stick shift.
Was it left-hand clutch? Right foot clutch?
No, the foot pattern was the same.
Oh, thank God!
And so was the gear pattern. It was the same. It was just that you're sitting on the other side of the road, and it actually wasn't too bad because had I had to drive on the opposite side of the road but not change sides of the car, it would have been really bad. But since you always are on the you're always closer to the center line,
right?
So I was just closer to the center line, but on the other side of the car,
right?
So it worked well.
Because I think that'd be crazy. Is like if it was the foot pattern was different.
Oh my God!
Can you imagine trying?
I cannot. That
like trying to let your left foot out and then having to shift. Did you still have to shift with your left hand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was just like this inside 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
4,
it was.
5.
It was
wasn't outside coming in. It
was the same shifting pattern.
Okay.
I mean,
so inside going out.
One was in the same spot as it always has.
Just left-handed, and because I always wondered if the pedal pattern would have been different.
Everything was exactly the same except for it was on the other side of the car.
Okay. Because I'm like, God, that would fuck me up trying to drive left-footed.
It actually wasn't that bad, I mean, it wasn't. Hey, you know what?
For him, it was a blast. For
never once did I drive on the wrong side of the road. I didn't go on the wrong side of the road once.
No. I would. I'd turn into a thing that.
No. I navigated London like a fucking champ. However, that was also in part due to my excellent navigator, Erica.
Thank you,
Did you do it like in the European 30 kilometers left?
It was.
Kilometers right.
It was. It's all very different. You did well though.
What's the euro compared to ours? Is it like $1.75?
It's about
well, the euro was like $1
and a half.
Yeah, $1.50.
So for our dollar, it was.
But the pound was like almost $2.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I mean it was bad, but I mean to fill up the Peugeot, which was a car the
it's
size.
Like a Rio.
Yeah. I mean, the size. It's a little, little car. We had that, and it was a little hatchback and everything. It cost us $80 American to fill it up with gas.
No shit.
I mean, it was expensive gas.
Wow.
I mean, it was like $9
because over here that would cost about $15.
However, the best $80 we ever spent because riding through the English countryside, my gosh, it was beautiful.
So you guys did I was so scared for a minute,
all through London, up into the Midlands.
But
Scotland.
man, that train wreck, I was like,
yeah.
For a hot second, I got really fucked up, freaked out for a hot second. I didn't, I told you Randy Childress texted me about it, or called me, left me a message, and then was blowing me up, are they over there right now? Where are they? I was like, I was like, I think they're already left Paris. Like, y'all went to Paris first and then worked your way.
Yeah.
You know, the other one.
Did you by any chance see the Bridge of Locks in Paris? Did you go there by any chance? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Probably not. We most of our Paris time was spent, you know, really
in the central area,
in the area where like, you know, the Louvre and the Eiffel Tower and Notre Dame,
like
the good stuff.
The good shit. It was good. I mean,
and then like
yes, the padlock bridge.
Yes.
The one right outside of the Louvre where everybody was buying the little padlock.
And you put your name, you put your names
Yes.
on it, and then you throw the key in the river, like your love will never, you know, blah blah blah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like basically, it's like.
I didn't know you were a travel guide.
A couple will go to the bridge, and the bottom of the bridge is like a fence, like a wire fence, and you put your lock on there, and you write your names on it, and it's like you're locking your love, and then you throw the key in the river.
That's freaking cool, man. Where the hell did you hear about that?
I saw it on TV.
We saw the lock bridge, but we didn't buy a lock.
Yeah.
And
well, guess what? I don't even want to hear the rest of this fucking story. Man.
We did all kinds of cool stuff. You know, I mean, the highlights of where we went. You know, I mean, we went to the Louvre, Eiffel Tower, Notre Dame, Stonehenge. We
checked out the Henge.
We rode the London Eye.
Edinburgh Castle.
We went to Edinburgh.
We went to the William Wallace Monument, Stirling Castle, Loch Lomond, which is one of the big locks, the big lakes in where the lowlands meet.
So is that Lake Lomond?
Yeah, it would be Lake Lomond.
We went to the seventh circle of hell.
Called Leeds. Leeds, England is the seventh circle of hell, if you didn't know.
No shit.
Yeah, all roads lead in, but one very winding up and down backwards road leads out. So if you don't know how to get out, you're stuck there for life.
And Leeds is the third largest city
so that's,
in all of
very interesting.
and all
even
of,
with modern technology.
England.
Also,
it was just the most frustrating city because you, like Erica said, you had. There was one road
well, they
that
can't
led
get out. They can't figure it out.
So imagine
it's
just imagine like a dandelion, okay? So it's got one stem, that's your way in and out, but inside you have a bunch of rings inside of that, and those are the flowers, and there's all these rings in there, but if you miss that one road to be able to get out of town,
deeper and deeper.
It is
literally.
It took us 30 minutes to get out of that town, and we were 5 blocks from the interstate.
Wow,
where we needed to be.
Like you could get on a roof and see where you got to go, but how the fuck do I get here and there?
I had to drive for 10 minutes to park 2 blocks away.
Wow,
for 10 minutes.
That's crazy.
I couldn't just go to the left and to the left. I had to take 10 to 12 turns.
Did you guys see any like soccer mobs or anything?
No, we didn't see any soccer mobs. We did. Our first night in Edinburgh, we rented condos each time, so we were on the 4th floor every time. We did that in Paris. We overlooked a nice town square. In London, we overlooked a nice little green courtyard in Notting Hill, just away from Portobello Road. And then when we were in Edinburgh, our condo was there was a field, probably a quarter-mile field at our back window, and then Arthur's Seat, which is this big mountain right there in Edinburgh. Not a mountain. I mean,
it's a mountain.
You had to scale it like a mountain. We ended up walking up it the next day, and it took us quite some time and quite a few breaks to be able to get up there. But the first morning we're there, 7 a.m. There are speakers. It sounds like there is a speaker in the bedroom just blaring this shit in our ears because there wasn't air conditioning, so we had to sleep with the windows open. We were there during a heat wave. Everywhere we went, the heat followed us.
But it was a polite English heat wave. So, it was like 85, 86 degrees, and everybody was falling out but us.
You're like, I'm wearing jeans.
Yeah. This is chilly. I've got a scarf on.
Yeah.
Considering as how during the middle of the summer, with where the Earth is positioned at that point, the sun didn't go down.
11:30.
The sun went down-ish at around 10:30. And then was like down at 11:30, and then there was a reddish hue about the sky until about 4, and then the sun starts coming up again. So I mean, there wasn't a lot. So 7 a.m. they begin the Great Edinburgh Run, the day that we get there. So all morning long, it's like, all right, everybody, we're gonna stretch. Yeah, let's stretch. It's gonna be good. Oh yeah. All right, we're ready to run. We're gonna have a great time.
And
everybody's pumping it up. Radio guys the entire time.
Love techno music.
Oh my god,
they
it was
really
horrible.
Especially at like 5 a.m. I mean, it just gets.
I remember
the blood pumping.
I remember when all of this started. I remember laying there in the bed, and I just opened my eyes. And Erica opened her eyes at the same time, and we looked at each other with that look of just the look that we both had on our eyes and in our faces was, what the fuck is that?
Is this a nightmare? Are we both? Is this Inception? Are we both in each other's dreams right now?
This really sucks.
Yeah. So
is the top still spinning because
and yours was like curdling at this moment, like
because all we wanted to do was sleep, and because we had just driven up there. And we went for a walk that day, and I mean that night, and we walked up the hill there in Edinburgh and walked back, and it was just I mean, we were going to be walking up Arthur's Seat that morning, so I really was hoping that we could sleep in till like 9 before we climbed the mountain.
However, I will say it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen.
It was a really nice view.
Really?
I mean, the whole country is just lovely. I can see why people want to move there.
However, I will say something, and this is going to be a nice little transition. Every day that I was in London, I wore a Jaguar shirt. Every day that I was in the entire UK, I wore a Jaguar shirt.
Nice.
And not once did anyone say boo about the Jaguars. I talked about the Jaguars if I had an opportunity, all kinds of stuff. There was nobody said anything, and I can tell you, I can tell you, me personally, and it's happened to me before. I've been out of town somewhere here in the States, and I'm wearing my Jaguar shirt, and somebody will notice it, and we talk about the Jaguars.
Yeah, they suck.
And,
it's like the first usually.
I mean, maybe it's a Jaguars fan, or something like that. But I would have hoped that with all of the hype that we've heard over here, that there would have been somebody somewhere would have said something.
However, but if you think about it culturally, they have rugby over there, which is like it's like gladiator version of American football.
No, I know. I played for a couple of years.
So they tend to veer toward the rugby side, and so they think of watered down
too.
American
Soccer's
football.
God.
Oh yeah, soccer's God, then followed by rugby, and then followed by any other sport, and lastly followed up by American football.
Anything that's not American is godly. They fucking
So the Jaguars in 4 weeks will be heading to London.
Yep, San Fran.
Yeah, they just recently traded away Eugene Monroe.
I like it. I like it a lot. What do we have now? 10 picks and a conditional, or 9 picks? I think it's 9 or 10 picks in the first 5 rounds, and there's 1 conditional still, so it could possibly be 11.
It's going to be the way to...
The first 5 rounds, that's good.
Yeah, I heard somebody say the other day, I mean, if you look at... I mean, they got, a 4 and a 5. So, if you look at the picks that we had this year, that was Ace Sanders and Grotz. Yeah. Or no. It wasn't Grotz. It was Ace Sanders and Denard Robinson.
Yeah, because Ace was 4 and then 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think.
So...
Because Grotz was 2nd, right? Wasn't Grotz the 2nd or 3rd? I thought
Grotz was the 3rd because Cyprian was the 2nd.
Yeah, it was one. I knew it was one of those two.
And Luke Jokel now takes over at left tackle.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch him play that position this week and see how. I mean, he's not going to.
He's really strong.
He's going to comfortable. Yeah, he's going to be very comfortable.
I do. I've heard a lot of good things about Jokel.
No, I think he's going to be much.
He's no Jokel.
I just it was just a typical, what you would say would be a typical female comment. I think he's really strong.
I love it. I love that you're into it.
Oh, wait. You getting sexist now?
Uh-oh.
Are you pulling out the typical female comment thing?
Yeah,
are we pulling out the typical comment now?
But that was why I was surprised.
Bonefish Grill.
That was why I thought.
Do we need to go back there? I don't want to relive that night.
That was why I thought that you
You want to relive a night where I dumped cheese all over somebody's pizza.
How many picks did you say
that was why I thought you were joking, was because it's atypical of you.
How many picks?
We got like 10 picks in the
going on to that,
basically.
Yeah, we're going to have 10 picks next year, and we're going to have the first pick of the draft.
Even though we have had horrible luck traditionally with our drafting, it's
new regime,
we've got to. It has to be something good.
Yeah, we're going to be struggling for the next 2 years, but if it's done right, which like Sticky's brought this point up before, that in all honesty, Gene Smith did it, and criteria-wise did it the right way, but had poor judgment on the talent and not quite going to where. I mean, he was picking up superstars out of small schools that were superstars that would have been starters in bigger schools, but not the superstar. Yeah. Like they would have been an average player instead of getting a above average or slightly above average guy from a Big Ten or a SEC or even this factor. I mean, ACC right now is pretty strong this year with Miami playing much better than they have in a long time, and Florida State, this Jameis Winston kid's turning into a beast. I mean, and then think about, and Clemson is now a powerhouse, a number 3 team in the country with Taj Boyd, which is a possible happening here, or Teddy Bridgewater in Louisville coming out of the the MAC or whatever. They're in a really weak conference. So it's funny. There's points with having that first pick. Now it's supposedly this next year. As of right now, as it stands, it's a very deep draft for quarterbacks. It's like a 4 deep. And now the question becomes, it's always been Clowney defense. It's Clowney. And everybody's like, well, he's not doing shit right now. Well, right now he's being double-teamed every time he plays. He's being double and triple-teamed, and they're literally running the ball away from him. The kid is still manhandling people. He's just not, the results aren't there because now they know who he is, big time now. This kid came out 2 years ago as a beast. He was a number 1 high school recruit. Came out, I definitely think quarterback should be our first priority. Absolutely, 100% quarterback. But with a quarterback deep draft, do you trade that pick down a little bit? Maybe go down 4 slots and grab Taj Boyd, Aaron Murray, McCarron. Because everybody is right now, Bridgewater, it seems like he's the first.
Can we even take that risk?
That's the thing, though. Is Bridgewater right? The thing is you have to let the season play out. This year, if any year that there's a Jaguar fan that's not a college fan, is the year where you want to get into college and watch the Clemson game. Like, I watched Clemson versus when they played Georgia. Those are 2 good college quarterbacks. Aaron Murray is an unbelievable quarterback in Georgia, but has a good line. Taj Boyd is your typical run, can play the option, but he can also throw, but he can run. Bridgewater can run, but he's a natural pocket passer with the speed. He's like Andrew Luck style. Andrew Luck is misconceived as not a runner, but Andrew Luck has got 4.5 speed, can run whenever he wants. Much like Aaron Rodgers is not looked at as a running quarterback, but the guy last year was the most sacked quarterback in the NFL and still had a playoff team. So if you pick a special player, man, you can get that special guy that can. It doesn't matter if your line is horrible. It can be a mediocre to poor line. It's still. It literally takes a good quarterback, is what I'm saying. Is with Blackman not getting in trouble in shorts, man, I mean, there's potential that we just got to pick the right guy. And, it's this year's the year to go for college football if you're not a college football fan and you're a Jaguar fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and see, I mean, the thing for me is that you can, I mean, I'm not going to say you can find pass rushers anywhere, but if you had the choice of 22 sacks a year, which is a high number
for one player, right?
For one player. Yeah. So that guy gets, let's say, 20 sacks a year.
Right.
Your average to be able to find out if you're, a good defensive end is 10 sacks a year. Mm-hmm. So let's say they get 10 sacks a year. Would you be satisfied with 10 sacks a year or 10 touchdowns a year?
Absolutely. I would look to...
Definitely. I mean, 10 sacks is better, but I'd much rather be able to get the touchdown.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'd rather score.
I'd rather go with the quarterback as well.
Yeah.
I like your thought though on the moving down.
Being how it's a deeper draft and possibly picking up more draft.
I think it's a great idea. I think that would be nice. Maybe we can pick up some extra stuff. Somebody that thinks that they do want the defensive end.
Yeah.
And it all, whether or not the Jaguars would be able to give away to be able to trade away the number 1 pick depends on who's at number 2.
Right, and you got to look too is that in those top 5 those top 5 teams that are drafting next year, the top 5 are the 5 worst teams basically this year. You also definitely have to look at those 5 teams and look, do they have a franchise quarterback? Of course, I think that would have to play in if you were to take the risk and move down, because you think that this draft is deep like it was last year with the RG3 and the Russell Wilson, which Russell Wilson was a surprise, but say that there is 3 quarterbacks that are difference makers, that all 3 of them could be good, like Andy Dalton's. But I think that also has a lot to do with the A.J. Green pickup, too, in the same year and they also have a really good defense. But, like, if you think that it's deep enough and you can get more picks, maybe get an extra second-round draft pick for moving down 4 slots or 5 slots, and those teams that are behind you have, at least 2 or 3 of them have franchise quarterbacks that they're going line or they're going D-end or something, or, I just...
But that's got to be the only
But
way,
if you get
right?
a D-end, though, he's got to be a 20-sack guy, minimum 18 sack if you're going to go first round.
The one thing that I think that the Jaguar brass wants to be able to do right now is take that rubber stamp and just go, bam,
here's our guy.
This is our guy. We had the choice
Subway commercials
of everyone
everything.
of everyone in the entire draft. We are going to stay at the number 1 pick, and we want this guy. He will be the quarterback that will take us into the
promised
future.
land. Exactly.
And that is what they want to do.
I don't think you can take that risk anymore, given what we've gone
What's
through
happened in the past.
here.
Even though it's a totally different regime, I think
Even
quarterback
just
should be
only based
first.
on, like,
I just don't know, like if the offer was on the table to move down and grab a different quarterback, and if
you would have to,
but you want your number 1 guy.
You would have to be
You would
moving
have
to
to
number
know.
2.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
I mean,
you
really,
have to
you can't.
know without 1 ounce of a doubt that you
Because
were
in all
gonna miss
intents and
out on
purposes,
anything.
right now, Teddy Bridgewater plays in Louisville, which plays very minimal competition, very minimal. The right now, Louisville's claim to stake and Teddy Bridgewater's claim to stake is what they did to Florida last year in the bowl game. They absolutely embarrassed that. It was a top-ranked defense, and he ran all over the place. Some say that that's Florida, because 8 of those players that were on that field were going into the draft. Some say that they weren't playing; they didn't really care. They had already declared before the game started. But then again, I just don't buy into that completely either. You go out there and play, you fucking play. But at the same time, like, for all we know, intents and purposes, Teddy Bridgewater could be what at this time last year, Geno Smith was gonna be the number 1 draft pick or number 2 draft pick. At this time last year, everybody thought, hey, look what happened. He went down to mid-second round? Isn't that when the Jets got him?
Yep.
And it's funny because
Top of the 2nd round.
Yeah, whatever. But it's so funny because I love that this is on there too. In a sticky conversation, a podcast we did earlier, do you remember me bringing up E.J. Manuel? Do you remember me?
I do.
And I couldn't believe when he got picked in the first round. I was like, that's iffy. But the kid had the tools. Now he just got hurt, but I don't think it's going to be what happened to the guy at Cleveland. He's out for the season. He tore his fucking
Hoyer.
Yeah, Hoyer tore, and he was on fire the last 2 games.
Yep.
Now EJ, I don't think his is bad. I think he has a spring. He's going to be out for like 4 weeks, I believe, is what they're reporting like as of today. But so far, you can honestly say to this point, though it's very soon, EJ Manuel definitely improved the Buffalo Bills offense big time.
Yeah.
Because of his ability. And EJ Manuel didn't come out as a runner. He's not a running quarterback. He's a natural drop back passer. That's the way the FSU's run their system since Jimbo Fisher came in, as a pure NFL style offense. Drop back and pass. And now look, I mean, the kid had all the traits, and it's just funny I brought that up, said, taking a chance on him in the 2nd round. Remember, I was like, when we come up for that, we're going to be in the top of that 2nd round. Should we possibly take a look at EJ Manuel if he's available? Now, he wasn't available. But I think the best part is that David Caldwell, I believe 100% when they said that on David Caldwell's board of all of his analysis, of all of his people, Luke Jokel was his number 1 guy. He wanted him no matter what. If we were the first pick and we weren't the 2nd, he was going to get him either way. that is what you were talking about with the quarterback. I want this guy. Either way, that's my fucking guy right there.
Right.
And it worked out in our favor because Fisher went first to Kansas City, and Jokel was Caldwell's guy. He wanted him. He's wanted him since he became the general manager. He had already had his scouting on it, and Luke Jokel was, in all intents and purposes, was the best player of the draft this year. Not right now as it's playing out, because honestly we haven't really got to see. The guy moved to an unnatural position on the right side, which is quite a shift for a rookie to move over. And I don't know where I'm getting up. I just had to stand up for a second. I'm tired. But anyway, he moved over. But that's why this week I'm excited to see him at his natural position, because they said, Brett Martineau, I follow him on Twitter a lot, and I chat with him and Mike Dempsey all the time. I love me some Mike Dempsey, man. At Mike Dempsey on Twitter. Follow Mike Dempsey's show. Does a football show from 3 to 4, 1010XL, Jacksonville, Florida, on TuneIn 1010 as well. Pay me, bitch. Pay me. But Brett Martineau is a really cool guy, dude. He's a sideline reporter and travels with the team, and it's cool, dude. He's my first follower that's like a celebrity status follower. He follows me.
Nice.
That's awesome. Like, he sent me a thing, and I was, sorry, man. It's my Labrador trying to get up on Sticky and rub his hair everywhere. Come here, bud. But anyway, I'm excited, dude.
Do you think they're going to win this week? Playing in St. Louis?
I have more optimism this week than I ever have. I
had a lot of optimism opening day, but
I did too. But I still think I don't know, man. It depends. If we get Blaine Gabbert like he's been, where it's so hard for AP Mark Long, Associated Press Mark Long, to come out and say clearly Gabbert's way head and shoulders better than Henne is. I watch Henne in practice; he's horrible. But if you fucking in 2 games in the same amount of time, even though it's in garbage time, either way, Blaine's had garbage time too. Henne's game time is much better. I mean, the only.
Do you go out and get Freeman?
Huh?
Do you go out and get Freeman?
I've been talking about that for the last 3 days. Now that he's been released and not no trade or anything, and now that the Bucks have to eat his contract in full, $6 million, coming in on league minimum, I say why not? If he's not who he, I don't think you go out and get him as your franchise guy. I think if you did go get him in purpose of Henne and Gabbert, if he's still out there, Henne and Gabbert are gone next year. Both of them are gone, and he's the guy that's something behind that has all the. If he at the moment, if nobody's taking a risk, I don't think he's going to be whining about making league minimum, because we're basically going to get him for free, pretty much, just like we did Babin last year.
Yep.
Get him for free, and let him do 2 weeks. But then again, what do they think of Stanzi, because they brought Stanzi back?
I think
Freeman has proven that when he's good, he's really good, and when he's bad, he's awful. But at the same time, look at his success compared to everybody else. I mean, he had 4,000 yards last year with over 20 touchdowns, with 27 and 17, I think, something roughly. That's, not correct, probably correct information, but it's around that. But he did have a year where he threw 27 and 6 picks, 27 touchdowns, 6 picks, 3,900 yards. Last year, he threw 4,000 yards. The upside is much more on him. Your chances of winning much better with him. He's better than both of our guys. But at the same time, do you really want to play yourself out of that first-round draft pick if he comes in and has immediate success with a mobile guy? Do you want to play yourself out of that?
It's very true.
You know what I mean? Do you want to
true.
play yourself out of that? But
no. Speaking of playing out,
and on that note, hey man, thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us.
I really appreciate you guys coming and talking. I'm actually so glad that the ladies decided to join us, and
yes,
we got some great input. Erica, great timing. You're amazing. Anytime, please come back. We need to do these more like this. I love it. It's very rare. We've only had a female presence on. Was Egypt Talk with Barushka, which was great. That's actually one of my favorites to tell people to listen to if they're first time listeners.
Yeah.
Egypt Talk is awesome. But in closing, wife, honey.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And
I had a blast.
you guys take care, and everybody have a safe week. Again, follow me on Twitter at God Save My Jags. Hashtag chips. I'll send you chips. Chip game. Anything I have to do with chips. Check me out. Worfcast. deanandwor.podbean.com is the site you can listen to it on if you don't have iTunes. And if you're listening to this, you probably already know that. So you guys take it easy.